Hi mathematicians! In this video we're going to learn how to find averages and continue to learn how to display information and present information in a way that makes sense. So here is a teacher's gradebook. This is from Earth Science with Mr. Vitamin and a lot of made-up students. And they took 3 different tests. We want to find the average to see their final grade. To do that, you press into the cell and you press equals because we're going to calculate, and then you type average. And you put parentheses and you highlight the cells. Or you could type C5 colon E5. So we want to average these 3 cells and close the parentheses. So their average grade is an 87.33333. So if we add all of these up and divide by 3, that's our average. Another way you could do that, if you forgot the name of the function average, you can highlight those 3, then click on the 3 dots to click on the summation symbol, and you press average, and it will calculate it for you as well. So now we're going to copy this down with all the cells, and we did that by dragging down that square in the bottom right corner. Now if we dragged it too far, you'll see divide by 0 because there are 0 things here, and so that's an error. So we can just delete that. So in your final grade, you very rarely have any decimal places. We need to enter grades that are rounded to the nearest whole number. To do that, you click on the column and you click on this 0.0 with a left arrow. This will decrease the number of decimals you have. So if we press it until we have no more decimals. If you accidentally go too far, or if you decide, oh, I do want 1 decimal, you can click on the right arrow. Now, as a teacher, it's really helpful to have information about the class average. This can tell you how well, as a whole, your class did and whether you need to repeat or reteach something. To do that, we're going to find the average of each test separately. So, we're going to click equals, type in average, and it's actually giving us a suggestion here of C5 to C30. Let's see if that's the cells we want. Yes, it is. So I can just press enter. And now I'm going to click and drag. So now I have the 3 averages for test 1, test 2, and test 3. But let's make this a nicer number by decreasing our decimals. Now you might also want to know your highest test score. To do that, we again click on our functions and we want our max. And we need to put in all of our cells from our tests. So I'm pressing Shift, and another quick way to get down is you press Control down. It will go to the bottom of the list until the next empty cell. Press enter, we have our highest test score. You could have also written equals max, and it would suggest it, and you check, is that the correct cells? Yes, press enter. And I'm going to drag that over to this one as well. Seems like the highest score for each test was 100. We can also find the minimum score. Similarly, you click on the cell, you click on the functions, and we want minimum. And then we click on our cells, Control Shift down, enter. The lowest grade on the first test was a 65. Or, again, you can put equals, min, and then it suggests it. I'm going to choose that. It is the correct cells. Press enter. Students did better on the second test, getting a 75. And I'm just going to copy Control C and paste Control V into the next cell. So now I found my maximum and minimum scores for each of these 3 tests. Now let's make this a little bit easier to read. We have our titles here. Again, I did that by clicking on the first one, Shift Control Right. So I've highlighted all my titles, and let's make them bold by pressing Control B. Now I want these titles to be closer to the actual scores, and I don't want them to stay here. So I can press Edit Cut, so it's going to remove it from here. It's going to cut it out here. And then I go to the cell where I want it to start, and I press Edit Paste. Another way you could do that, I'm going to press Control Z to go back. You highlight them, press Control X to cut it, move Control V to paste. But now I can't see each of these names, so I'm going to resize column B by clicking between B and C twice. And now I can see that entire name. Now when this prints, I want it to print with borders around each student's name and test scores and average, but not around all the other things. So I'm going to highlight all of these cells, click on my 3 dots, and click over here. This gives us borders. We have different options of what kind of borders you want. The outer borders, notice how it puts a line along the outside, or we can have everything with borders. Let's choose this option. So now double check that all your data and formatting is accurate. Sometimes I like to make it smaller so I can see the whole thing at once to double check everything. And now we're going to print it as a PDF. So print. And you see now in landscape, it doesn't all fit on one sheet. So let's make it into portrait. That all fits now. How am I going to get rid of all of these ugly lines here? I'm going to click on Formatting and unclick Show Grid Lines. Now we don't have all those other lines there. And it's a much cleaner way of presenting data. And we did it much faster to calculate the averages using our spreadsheet. So let's press Next and change the destination to Save as PDF and Save. Make sure that it has your name in it. Now you will upload that to the assignment and you are done. Have a wonderful day and stay safe.